Jake, Brend with Cyclone Fanatic back here for day 2 of Big 12 Media Days. And what I want to focus on today is Iowa State's defensive line. That is a unit that needs to take a major jump in 2025. Last season, the Cyclones ranked dead last in the conference in sacks and second to last in rushing defense. Big Citrus Dom Orange is back in the middle of the three-man front. Ike Ezeagu and Zamir Hawk also return after lots of snaps in 2024. There will be some new faces as well. Von Troy Malone from Tulsa and Tomatoa McDonough from Yale are 2 transfers expected to make an impact. Matt Campbell gives some really good insight into the D-line.
I think that's a room that I'm probably most interested to see their development through fall camp. Obviously, it's huge to have Dom back. You know, I think if you really study the videotape from last year, Ike probably deserved to play a lot more than he did. I think he was really productive on a group that wasn't as productive as they needed to be. And I think he probably should have played a lot more than maybe he was playing. But I think for Ike, he's had a great offseason and understanding why maybe he wasn't on the field as much as he needed to be. And so I think you got 2 great pieces to build around that I think are high-end talents. And then, you know, what's the development of the rest of this group? You know, I'm excited. Zamir Hawk has had flashes of brilliance and excellence. Man, has shown that he's got the ability to be a really talented football player for us. You know, I'm really excited about Trey Verdone. I think he's a guy that's come in and had flash wild moments in spring ball. I thought did a really great job. And then we're going to see these transfers. You know, we're going to see, you know, what those guys can bring to the table. Tama's been super impressive early on. We haven't played, he hasn't even wore a helmet here, so you know, like to get all excited about that is hard. But what you do have is videotape evidence from him, you know, leading, you know, the Ivy League in tackles for a loss, and you know, being up there in sacks, and you see get off, and you see twitch, and I'm just excited. I think there's a lot of depth. Elijah Nakonsa, Jace Gilbert. Man, these are young, talented guys. I think the talent in that room is as talented as we've been. Man, are we mature enough to be ready to go and play the level we're going to take to play great football? And obviously that's good to get tested. Not like you got, you know, 4 weeks to figure it out. You better be ready to rock and roll.
That's a lot of really good stuff from Campbell. This feels like a group that will have the most movement of any in fall camp. We also talked to Dom Orange, and his solution for getting to the quarterback is pretty simple.
We got to find that dog in us. I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, nothing else to it. We just got to find ways to be better as a unit. Even myself, you know, I've been a part of that, you know, not being able to get sacks, of course, getting pressure on the quarterback. Of course, it shows up in the stat book, stat sheet, of course. And so, you know, we just got to be better ultimately at the point of attack, you know, making those quarterbacks, you know, adjust their throws even the slightest bit, you know, help our secondary out the most.
Yesterday, Rocco Becht shared that he thinks that the wide receiver room is actually deeper this year, even without Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll. In a follow-up, Rocco explained the differences that he sees between Chase Sowell and Higgins and Xavier Townsend and Knoll.
Chase is going to be able to bring more of a vertical jump. You know, I think he can, you know, get higher up there, more of a 50-50 ball guy, you know, reaching out with his hands and going up there and getting it. And I think that's what he can bring to the table is throwing the ball down the field and him actually using all of his length and going up there and getting the ball. Xavier brings sort of like a twitchiness to his game, and I think Jalen was, you know, he was super smooth in every route, every breakout he ran. But you never know where X is going to be going because he's just so, you know, small and moves so fast, which is going to be helpful for me because I'm going to know where he's going to be going, but the defense isn't. And I think that's where that timing comes in, you know, those extra reps comes in, so we're able to be on the same page.
Rocco and Townsend go way back. Rocco said that he's been trying for 2 years to get him to Ames. Now that he's here, Rocco shared his recruiting pitch.
You'll be playing with, you know, one of the top quarterbacks, and I think you'll be playing in an offense where you're going to be getting the ball, you know, most of the plays. And, you know, if you watch Jalen Knoll last year, that's going to be you this year. And so I think that's kind of what sold us. He's going to be one of the guys on the team that can go 1,000+ yards. And so I'm excited about it.
I actually talked to Kansas State quarterback Avery Johnson on how he's preparing for the game in Ireland. You can see that on all platforms tomorrow. For now, it's been a great 2 days in Frisco, and that is all brought to you by Fareway Meat Grocery. Thanks to Fareway for supporting what we're doing right here at Cyclone Fanatic.